Hey guys, welcome to another round of Test Your GRE Vocabulary Knowledge. I feel like we haven't done one of these in a while because we haven't, but anyway, we are back. So this is going to be test number 22. So let's go ahead and begin. I have become cumbersome to my girl. So I'm doing something a little bit unusual. We've actually studied this word before, but that song in the beginning that you heard, you know, that really kind of strong guitar riff, the name of that song is Cumbersome, and this is actually one of the lyrics from the song. I have become cumbersome to my girl. Well, cumbersome can mean like a burden, hard to manage, hard to deal with. So the best choice is going to be D, unwieldy. We now know how unprecedented this event was, so you can kind of break this apart. You have the word precede, which means come before, right? So unprecedented means it has never come before. It has never happened before. So the best answer is going to be E, exceptional. Now, don't get thrown off here. If I'm talking to you as a friend, exceptional can mean like great. You know, the movie was exceptional, right? But on the GRE, exceptional has a slightly different meaning. It means kind of singular or anomalous or unique or something like that. So the best answer is E. Number 3, regarding money, I think the government should be stinted. You know, some of these are a little bit too strong. You know, we don't want to destroy the government. We don't want to abandon the government. That would be bad. But the best answer here is restricted. Yeah, you want to kind of restrict them with their money. Much has been extrapolated from these data. This is not a grammar mistake. Remember, data can be singular or plural. Whenever you extrapolate something, it's like you expand what you can conclude from the data. You know, for example, if you have a sample size of 100 people, you know, you can extrapolate that data to the larger population of 10,000 or 20,000 or even 1,000,000 people. So the best answer here is going to be inferred, because you're not totally positive that what you extrapolate or conclude is 100% true. So E is a little bit too strong, but you do have a pretty good guess, which is why infer is going to be the best answer here. Okay, moving on. Number 5, most of my group members are liabilities. If you guys have ever done any group projects, you know that they're kind of a pain in the ass and people usually don't get along. So liabilities, you're kind of looking for a negative word here. It basically means they're holding you back. And that's very similar to that cumbersome word we had at number 1. So the best answer is going to be B, burdens. The news made me euphoric. Well, here there's, 100% no context. So you just have to know that euphoric means the news made me happy. So the best answer is going to be D, joyous. The field is rather elementary. How do I say that with a British accent? Elementary. Elementary. You just sound like a pompous ass whenever you say that word, don't you? So one way I remember this is elementary school is pretty easy, pretty basic, right? So the best answer is straightforward. It's not hard to understand. It's not that complicated. The president was surprisingly heterodox. The way I personally remember this word is it's the antonym of the word orthodox. And somebody who is orthodox always follows the trends or follows common knowledge. Heterodox means you go against that. So the best answer is going to be D, rebellious. All right, number 9, the woman put forth fervent appeals. So maybe, her son's in jail, or, maybe there's like an injustice being occurring. So she's trying to appeal her case. She's very passionate about this. She's using a lot of energy. So the correct answer is going to be C. Now, I did kind of throw in a trick answer here, desperate. People who do fervent appeals, maybe they are desperate, but that's not necessarily the definition of fervent. So again, you have to be careful. Sometimes I try to trick you guys, not always successfully, but sometimes I do try to put in a little trick. So number 10 here, it says, please spare us one of your characteristic gaffes. Again, no context. All of these 5 answer choices could make sense. So a gaffe is someone who's maybe kind of clumsy or doesn't really watch their mouth carefully, and they kind of blurt out something that's embarrassing or something that's just not right for the situation. So the best answer is going to be blunder. And the reason why is gaffe has this meaning of kind of it being a mistake or unintentional. Whereas a lot of these can be kind of intentional: outburst, vulgarity, speech, conspiracy. Their idealism was tempered. A good way to remember this is kind of like the 1920s and 1930s in America, when the temperance movement kind of picked up steam. I don't know if that's an E or a like that. So this is when, they banned alcohol and they really wanted to moderate people's drinking, kind of push it down. Correct answer is moderated. Golf is a painstaking sport. You can kind of guess if you know anything about golf. So here you do have some context, right? Golf is very tedious. You have to really pay attention. If you make one small mistake, everything goes wrong. So the best answer is exacting. Number 13, his book exhibits impressive economy. So this is kind of what GRE loves to do. So they take a word that's pretty easy, the word economy. Everybody knows this word, but they use like the third or fourth definition of it. So economy can mean like frugality, not spending a lot of money. But if you're talking about an author or a book, it means that the book is not too long. The book is kind of short. So the correct answer is going to be restraint. So the author kind of holds back. He doesn't write too much. I have a few qualms, I have a few issues, I have a few problems, I have a few reservations, I have a few misgivings. Okay, complaint is not bad, but misgivings is a better answer because qualms, if you get into the nuance of it, it's more about reservations or kind of like hesitation than it is about just outright complaints, right? The evidence was not robust enough to exonerate the man. So exonerate is a good thing, even though it doesn't look good. Exonerate means you go free. So the best answer is clear. Benjamin implicitly expressed his criticism. So he did so quietly, indirectly, subtly, tacitly, right there. Carefully is not bad, but remember, you can still be loud and carefully express your criticism, whereas implicitly is kind of that more indirect approach. Number 17, I've never met a more phlegmatic man. Now, I love this word because this is a perfect example of a word that you would just never know unless you study it. So I put in some trick answers, phlegm, like, that thing in your nose, right? So it doesn't mean ill, right? Phlegmatic, believe it or not, doesn't mean disgusting, It means someone is calm or cool under pressure. So the best answer is collected. Like they don't get too emotional. They handle high pressure situations well. She has a propensity for violence, so this woman likes violence or she has a tendency to engage in violence, so inclination toward. Obsession with is a little bit too strong here. That's a little bit too strong. Remember, on the GRE, you do have to take into account kind of how extreme a word is. His goal was to foment division. So this guy wanted to cause division. We see a lot of division right now in the United States, and there may be third-party actors or maybe parties inside the country who are benefiting from this kind of division that's being fomented in the country, right? All right, so the best answer is arouse. I've been known to embellish a story or two. So the trick answer here is fabricate. Fabricate means to basically lie, like everything is not true. That's too strong. Embellish means you just add little details that may not be true. So maybe, for example, you got in a fight and the person was 6 feet tall, but when you tell the story, he's like 6 feet 3 inches tall. You embellish it a little bit. So the best answer is going to be color right there. So yeah, color is one of those words. It appears easy. Everybody knows the meaning of color, but it has like 32 million definitions, and GRE sometimes likes to exploit this. It's imperative she remain inviolate. I don't even know how to pronounce this stupid word. But again, another very good GRE word, because if you had to guess it, you're going, okay, violation, not violation, violation. But just looking at it, you really can't guess it. At least I can't. So it doesn't mean unauthorized. It doesn't mean imprisoned. It doesn't mean separate or oblivious. It means unharmed, safe. For me personally, that's one of those words that I just have to study. Kashav reneged on the promise. So this guy broke the promise. He said that he was going to clean your house or do your laundry, and then he disappeared for forever. It was an arresting building. Another kind of example of an easy word where GRE is maybe using a different definition. So what exactly does arrest mean? Well, typically when we think of that word, we think of policemen, but it actually comes from whenever you arrest something, you stop it or you slow it down. So the word arresting means imagine you're walking and then you just notice something that's so beautiful or so great, it just stops you in your tracks and you stop walking. So that's where the word comes from. It's a very striking thing, a very kind of beautiful or just something that you have to notice. Chris tends to find the most obstinate partners. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. Basically, Chris likes his, his partner to be stubborn, or maybe that just happens by chance. Correct answer is headstrong. Her mom is a vivacious person. You might be able to guess this one. A person who is vivacious has a lot of energy, is very lively. So the best answer is animated. We need to ignore her histrionics. This is a pretty tough one. I think this is another word that you just have to study. Whenever someone engages in histrionics, they basically show a lot of emotion which might be exaggerated, which doesn't really fit the situation. They might be wailing when really there should only be one tear. So the best answer is theatrics. The author's output was prodigious. So this author just, loved to write. He was a writer. Maybe he wrote 1,000 books. So his output was enormous. We have a tentative deal in place. What this means is, we have a maybe deal. Maybe right now there's a lot of trade deals going on, but some of them are not written in stone. So this deal could fall apart, but it's kind of going in the direction of being signed. So the best answer is provisional, right? Everything could fall apart. Hopefully it doesn't. We have a tentative deal in place. Okay, two more. We mustn't falter. So, this is something like GRE study. Whenever you study GRE, maybe you feel frustrated and some days you just want to give up. But, don't falter. Keep going. We mustn't waver. We must exhibit conviction. We must be resilient. And then finally, the father chastised his daughter. So his daughter must have done something wrong. Maybe she broke curfew. She stayed out too late. Maybe she stole the car. So the father censored his daughter. Now, notice the spelling here. Okay, I didn't put the word censor. That's a different word. So again, this GRE definition means like scold or chastise. All right, guys, so that is test number 22. Feels good to be back. 22 times 30 is going to be what? 660. So now the list has 660 words. And, I'll try to get one of these out pretty soon here. Anyway, if you guys, I'm sure some of you have, but if you haven't, just go to gregmatt.com and you can find a lot of other GRE shit on there. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.